Hey guys, it's Sarah. Thank you so much for watching. So today we have an update on my eyeshadow roulette series, and this is a series that I've been doing for the past, I guess, 6 or 7 months now. I think this is round 7. And this is a series that was inspired by the Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan, which was started by Alexandra Shostin. I have adapted it a little bit to kind of suit my personal makeup consumption habits a little bit better. So for me, the goal really isn't to hit pan on the shadows so much as it is to just pair together 5 totally random eyeshadows from my collection, get some use out of them for a month, figure out some new and different color combinations that I probably never would have thought of before. And so what I do is I use random.org to choose 5 eyeshadows from my collection. Any shadow from my palettes, my magnetic singles, my individual singles are all fair game, and it's always really fun to choose new colors. It's interesting to figure out ways to use them together. Sometimes it's a really cohesive color story, other times it's not so much, so it's always really fun, and I am going to go ahead and give you a little recap on the 5 shadows that I was focusing on in September. I think I'm wearing all 5 of them on my eyes today, actually. And then we will go to random.org and pick 5 new shades for the next month. I'm very excited. I always love picking new shades. So let's go ahead and do a little recap of the shadows that I was using in September. So I didn't hit any new pans on any of these. I do feel like I used them all a good number of times. So one of the shades we had was the shade Soul from Norvina, which it has been historically one of my least favorite shades in this palette. I did want to give it another chance this month. A lot of you guys told me that it was one of your favorite shades, so I was like, okay. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to make this work. So when I did my Get Ready With Me where I used all 5 shadows, I ended up using this all over the lid, and then I topped it with one of the other shades, which was Prowlin from ColourPop, and I did really like the way that turned out. Today I have it just kind of barely smudged on my upper lash line, so you can't even really tell that it's there, but I don't know, the shade definitely grew on me. I think that when it is on the eyes next to some lighter purples. I also used ColourPop Howlin', which is like the matte lavender color, very light pastel. I had that in the crease with this on the lid, and it definitely looks prettier when it's paired next to some lighter and brighter shades as opposed to pairing it with like a brown or something. So I did find some ways to use it that I really liked. I also did top it another time with the shade Celestial. Celestial kind of in the middle, more towards the middle of the lid, and then I actually layered Prowlin on sort of the inner corner of the lid, and I liked it better that way too. So I definitely do like this shade worn in certain ways, so I'm glad that I was able to kind of give this a second chance this month, and I do like it more than I did before, I will say that. And then the shade Prowlin from ColourPop, this was another one of the shadows. I wore this a ton this month as a lid shade. Really pretty. It's a very light purple, but it doesn't necessarily look like a purple on the eyes. You can tell there's a little hint of purple to it, but it really just looks like a light shimmery lid shade. It's also great as a topper shade over that Soul color that I was just talking about. So I do really like that shade. It's a nice way to wear purple without really looking like you're wearing a really intense purple. Then we had the shade Wake Up Call, which is a matte brown, and I'm wearing this in my crease. I really like this crease color. It looks like a matte kind of beigey brown, but it really does have a lot more to it than just that. When it is blended out as a transition color, it sort of starts to pull some kind of like rosy, almost mauve-y undertones, so I do really like this color. It's prettier than just your average like flat beige transition color, so really enjoyed using that this month. That is what I'm wearing in my crease right now. Then we had the shade Suede Side to Side from the Milani Bold Obsessions palette. There were a few times I wore this as a lid shade, and then today I'm wearing it more in the outer half of my lid with Prowlin in the inner half. I really do like that color. It's a little bit deeper than what I normally go for all over the lid, but it can be really pretty. And then the 5th shade we had was from Subculture in the shade Adorn, which is a bronzy color. These shimmers in Subculture, at least my version of Subculture, whichever batch this is from, are really annoying because they almost are like cream shadows. Like you can almost move them and push them around, sort of like you would with a like ColourPop Super Shock shadow. But they're just not as buttery as pigmented as a lot of the shimmers are from other Anastasia palettes. But once it is on, it is really pretty. You kind of just have to like really build it up and kind of dig your brush in there. But this today I'm wearing kind of in the center of my lid, and I did one very neutral look a few days ago where I had suede side to side on the lid, and then I had Adorn sort of layered over it in the middle and outer part of the lid. And it was a really pretty way to kind of fade a cooler brown with a warmer bronzy color. And then I had Wake Up Call in the crease. And I really liked that look. It was very simple, very like work appropriate. So yeah, I really enjoyed this month's round of colors. It was a great mix of cool and warm tones. And it was fun to kind of play around with the two together on the eyes. So like I said, I didn't hit any new pans. I actually dreamed that I hit pan on a different shade in Subculture. I think it was the shade Destiny that I hit pan on, which is funny because that is my least favorite shade in this palette. I don't think I will ever hit pan on that shade. I don't know why I dreamed that. That was funny. Okay, so before we get into picking the 5 new shades for this next month, I did want to let you know I did add a new palette to my collection recently. It's the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. I've been eyeing this for a while and it is so beautiful. There are 18 shades in here, so we're adding 18 new shadows to the list. I also just ordered the e.l.f. New Classics palette, which is in the same type of packaging. And that is not here yet though. I also went ahead and removed the 5 shades that we had last month so that those won't get picked again. I don't like to have repeats. I just want to have like a fresh new set every month. So with all of that, we have 137 shadows that we'll be choosing from. So let's go ahead and pick some new shades. All right, so the first shade I got is 26. That is from Soft Glam. Good, because I feel like I haven't used this palette in a while, since I've just been focusing on other palettes. And it's the shade Rose Pink, which is this gorgeous rosy pink color. I love that shade. Yeah, I also just love this palette. I actually did pull it out recently and wore it to a Bon Iver concert, and it reminded me how much I love this palette. So I'm excited to use that some more. I probably will use, obviously, more than just that one shade, because I just love it. And maybe I can even hit pan on it. I actually think that I could be getting close to hitting pan. So it is possible that you'll see a pan on that in a month. All right, next we have the shade 133, or the number 133. And that is, oh good, this is from the new e.l.f. palette. And it's the shade Oasis, which is, which one? Ooh, it's this really pretty light sky blue. Interesting combo so far. Actually, I don't hate those two together. I don't know. It's probably not an ideal combo. Hi. Okay, next, let's see. I got 61, and that is from Norvina once again. The shade Dazzling, which I don't know which one that is. I think I like that shade. Yeah, actually that's one of my favorite shades in this palette, and I haven't used it in a hot minute. It's this very like multi-dimensional, bronzy, taupey, rosy, metallic shade. I do really like that shade. I'm actually very excited that we got that one. And I feel like I could actually potentially hit pan on that as well. It's a very soft shimmer, as Anastasia shimmers tend to be. That. Ooh, I love how metallic it is. My only complaint is those metallic shades in this palette are so flaky, like it is almost impossible to avoid fallout. So I will be using a glitter glue with that shade. It just kind of calls for one. So alright, so that's the 3 out of the 5 so far. Let's pick another. Oh, we got another one from the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. 136, which is the shade Fuji Feels. That's kind of an olivey taupe color. I guess that's how you would describe that. I haven't used that shade yet. In fact, I've only used a couple shades out of this palette so far. I'm really glad that just by chance we've already gotten 2 shades. That way it'll give me a chance to play with the palette. Ooh, that almost feels like a cream shadow. But it's, I mean, it's a powder. There's that. Really pretty color. Alright, so far we've got, actually I kind of like these 4 shades together. They're kind of weird with that rose pink and the blue, but I actually think it's kind of pretty. And then let's pick one final shade. So I got 130, which is once again one of the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean shades. That's so funny that we got 3 shades from this palette. That is the shade Gold Rush, which is this very yellowy gold. I love that color. Ooh, I love that. It's so Wow, okay, so that is a very interesting color story. I actually like it. The rose pink is kind of, I mean, it really, next to all these shades, it really just looks like a shimmery peach color, which I think is gorgeous with the blue, actually. All shimmers except for that blue, which is a matte. So it'll be really interesting to see what I can come up with as far as a look using all 5 of these. It might be kind of challenging. There's a lot of possibilities here, and I'll just be trying to use each of these shades as much as I can this month. I won't necessarily use them all together every day. I may just use like 2 shades together sometimes, but I do always try to at least do one look where I use all 5, and I will do that in a get ready with me later this month. Really excited though to get to play with this palette some more. Since it is new, obviously I do want to play with it, so it is an exciting coincidence that we got 3 shades from this palette. Only 3 shadows got picked from this month, which was nice. Keeps things simple. A lot of times we'll have like 4 different palettes and then a single shadow, so it's like a lot to keep up with, but this will be really good. And I do feel like with the rose pink and the shade Dazzling from Norvina, both of those Anastasia shimmers, I do feel like I have a chance of hitting pan on both of those. So like I said, it's not really the goal, but I mean, if I do, it's great. It's like an added bonus. So yeah, really excited to see what we can come up with this month. I hope that you enjoyed this update. If you are also doing this type of a series, let me know how it's going for you. It's really just been a great way for me to make sure that I'm rotating through all my shadows and getting use out of all of them, and I'm excited to keep going. So that, I think, is all for today's video. If you enjoyed, I'd love to have you subscribe. I do these videos monthly where I just recap the previous month and then talk about the new shadows, and then at some point in the middle, in between, I do a get ready with me where I use all 5 of the colors together to create one look. So definitely stick around for that. I hope to see you again very soon, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.